Hi, I'm Ans, producer and media channels editor of Vogue Philippines, and this is In Vogue. Welcome to Vogue Philippines June Filipino Pride and Joy issue, where we celebrate Filipino culture and identity. For our June issue, we pay tribute to Filipino visionaries who inspire us beyond the stage. We spoke with artists and leaders to get to the heart of what moves us. June is also the perfect month to express pride and joy because it is when we celebrate Independence Day in the Philippines. We wanted to capture that sense of freedom, of breaking and expanding boundaries by honoring our heritage, the history we share and shape, and the context that makes us us. On the cover, we are proud to have the one and only Anna Bailey. Most of us know Anna as the first Asian supermodel, the Filipina who took the world of high fashion by storm in the 80s. Her signature walk made her unstoppable on the runway, and her hair flip inspired models generation after her. One thing that stuck with me from my conversation with Anna was when she said, "I move for a living," because really, her life has always been movement. After joining a beauty pageant on Adair, Anna was discovered by Filipino designer Oji Cordero and went from being a pre-med scholar to a global supermodel. She kick-started her modeling career in Hong Kong, and soon she was widely admired by top designers like Thierry Mugler, Yves Saint Laurent, and Christian Dior. Since the inception of Vogue Philippines in 2022, we always wanted to feature Anna, and it was just a matter of finding the right time and the best way to do it. Anna is deliberate about her public appearances, and so when our team approached her last year, we presented the idea of seeing her as she is now, giving justice to her entire history and not just her modeling career. And that's really where it all began. And for the cover shoot, we thought, who is better to continue this conversation visually than the portrait photographer Mark Seliger. And here on the cover, Anna is wearing a dress by Melita Baumeister, who won the CFDA Fashion Fund in 2023, and pearls by Jewelmer, right on time for June, which is also the Pearl Month. Anna was super excited to collaborate with Mark because he wasn't a fashion photographer first. He is a portrait photographer first, and so his eye for story and emotion was different. And he could see beyond her years as supermodel or as a fashion muse and capture the timeless, authentic Anna Bailey. We also worked with Filipino designers to create custom pieces for Anna, and one of which is this one, which is the opener of the story, where Anna is wearing Ivar Lusky Aceron, a dress by Ivar. It's amazing. And then on the next page, we have Anna wearing Comme des Garçons jacket and skirt, and this one is a Schiaparelli jacket and skirt, which is an homage to her hair flip moment on the runway. Next one is another dress by Filipino designer Vanya Romoff. She's also wearing Jewelmer pearls in this one. And this one is a dress by Christian Soriano, where Mark also shared that the whole time that the shoot is happening, Anna was just moving around, making sure that, she gets to move because, as she said, she moves for a living, and so it also makes sense to do that also in the shoot. And here on this spread, Anna is wearing a beautiful dress by Martin Bautista, a custom piece which is actually inspired by one of his designs from his latest collection. And on the next page, we have here a dress by Rahul Laurel, which is actually the first layout we shot on that day. Another dress we have here on this spread is by Richard Quinn, and obviously a very beautiful shot of Anna's lips adorned with pearls and jewels from Jewelmer. And the last image for this story is Anna wearing this beautiful look by Marc Jacobs. And once we had the final images, I called Anna and said, we wanted to air this feature in June for our Filipino Pride issue, and it's really because her legacy brings so much pride and joy to the Philippines. Earning the title of Asia's first supermodel was more than enough, especially back then when diversity and inclusivity were not as valued in the industry as they are now. So Anna really carved her own space and set a new precedent in a world of Western models. And even her runway walk is a tribute to her roots based on the Batis women who wash their clothes in the river and need to tiptoe on the stones so they they don't fall down. Her hair flip was also inspired by her aunt, who would moisturize her hair with coconut oil. Ana had the ability to become what any designer wanted her to be, but she never dismissed her Filipino identity. And for our In Vogue section, we feature the Filipiniana textile artist and Filipino fashion designer, Patis Tesoro. Patis is known for her vibrant spins on Filipiniana pieces like terno, and for reviving the local crafts like piña weaving, which uses the leaf fibers of the pineapple to create garments like the Barong Tagalog and the Barot Saya. And in this editorial photographed by Bimpuman with words by Chelsea Sarabia, our fashion editor David Milan actually loaned and sourced pieces from close friends and private collectors because Patis's designer always one of one and usually tailor fit for her clients. This is actually deeply rooted in the practice of bespoke or pasadya, which directly translate to custom in Tagalog, which is our Filipino language, and technically emphasizes the importance of making intentional fashion choices. She told us that the book was her contribution to the fashion industry and to the Philippine culture, which she wanted to keep alive and give as a gift to the next generations of designers. In my perspective, personally, what makes Patis extraordinary is that she celebrates fashion from its roots, because the root of fashion is agriculture, and using our own local materials like pineapple and turning it into colorful threads and textiles, making something out of what grows in our land, in our soil. For me, that is pride, and that is our design DNA, and a perfect example of how we make who we are. And in the beauty section, we invited 6 women to shed light on the experiences of menopause, which many people go through but hesitate to talk about or don't fully understand. We set up a round table so that our guests would feel comfortable to enter the discussion equally as speakers and listeners. The discussion was moderated by journalist Karen Davila together with health experts and personalities. We had Dr. Cherie Bondok, a medical director and OB-gynecologist, give a background on the symptoms of menopause, and Chela Po, a nutrition coach, talk about what it means to take care of your body. We also learned from Joey Mead King, Joanna Priestler, and Diane Casillejo that everyone experiences and manages menopause differently. Some get hot flushes, some feel anxious and fatigued, and so some explore exercise or adjust their eating habits and so on. And really, in this day and age, it is very important to be open, to make information clear and accessible so that more people are empowered to navigate this space without feeling alone. For me, this roundtable shows that these women are not alone and that it's possible to reframe the way we think about menopause. And for our culture editorial, our team, led by our managing editor Jack Sampayan, spent a day with the master impersonator, performer, and comedian John Santos. This was an exciting shoot because there were so many ways to get to know John. He is a man of many talents and faces across TV, film, and theater. But a lot of people are familiar with John because of his drag from the late 80s onwards. Some of his most popular impersonations were of women in Philippine politics. And here we paid homage to some of his roles in our images. Like in this one, his big square glasses are a nod to him as President Cory Aquino. And on the other spread, we see John surrounded by shoes because he's playing as First Lady Imelda Marcos. But we also enjoyed styling John in full dandy. As you can see here on this spread, this is styled by our fashion associate Neil de Guzman and photographed by Mark Nicdao. We choose dandy because the history of this look lends itself to defying social norms and being fully expressed in a way that's bold and elegant yet playful. To touch on other cornerstones of dandy, we leaned into meticulous tailoring, accessories, and the peacock chair as a symbol of self-representation and reclamation. Shape-shifting is John's superpower. Through clothes, voice, and gesture, he not only transforms into character, he makes them his own. And that's empowering because for so long, being a comedian was limited to being an extra or a sidekick in films and television. And John even shared that his family of soldiers and engineers were worried about his career at first. But when John mimics people in power, he also kind of like reshapes their power. He finds the human element of these figures and levels the playing field, inviting us, audience, to put our guards down, laugh freely, and, get honest about the situation we find ourselves in as a country and as an individual. And by exploring different characters, he explores different facets of himself so that he isn't just John Santos, he becomes John Santos. Featured in our Vogue Man section is the Filipino-American actor Darren Criss, who spoke with us about his career and what it feels like to forge his own legacy. But Darren also has an extensive theater background. His latest role is one he originated in the Broadway musical Maybe Happy Ending, which is nominated for 10 Tony Awards. With all his recognition, audiences are waking up to Darren as a performer in league with Lea Salonga, Evan Oblizada, and Rachel Ango, who all met successes on Broadway. What's interesting about Darren also is that he doesn't shy away from his praise because he sees fame as a responsibility. And in a conversation with Vogue, he talks about feeling grateful and honored and rising to the occasion of what people see him as. This story was shot in New York by photographer Kevin Sinclair and styled by Davian Lane with words by Isaiah Magsino. To close the issue, we chose a quote by Patis Tesoro that resonated with our theme as a final takeaway. Here, Patis says, "We are Filipino, we must continue the legacy. Not because we have to, out of courtesy or obligation, but because it is something we already have, that has always been ours to claim or reclaim." Patis reminds us that our story is one we weave together and one that she encourages us to wear with pride. Before closing the issue, I was on a phone call with Anna and she said that she would ask for a sign from the universe. 20 seconds after that call, she called me again and told me she got it. It was 1:11 p.m. in New York and 1:11 a.m. here in Manila, and when she looked up the meaning of that number, it was new beginnings and new alignment. And during our short conversation, she checked the time again, and it was 1:13 p.m. or 13:13, which meant embrace change and trust your intuition. Earlier this month, when we revealed Anna's cover online, we got a lot of comments from people who were so excited to finally see her again and that our feature was long overdue. But the call with Anna was magical because it felt like we were just on the right time. It was like after years of waiting for the right moment to work together, our time was now and everything was aligning to affirm that. Read all these stories and more inside our June Filipino Pride and Joy issue, available at shop.vogue.ph and major bookstores nationwide. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.